Personal Data Protection Commission is investigating two companies for apparently breaching the rules of the Do-Not-Call or DNC registry. Now, the PDPC received two valid complaints from consumers who received text messages despite being on the registry. The DNC officially comes into effect today, and its role, of course, is to protect you from unwanted communication from telemarketers via voice call, text message and fax. Well, so far, about 400,000 unique numbers have registered, but it will take some time for companies to adjust. So from the date that you signed up, you should expect to completely stop receiving unwanted telemarketing messages within up to 60 days. So to tell us more about it is the chairman of the Personal Data Protection Commission, Leong Keng Thai. So Mr. Leong, thank you for coming in today.
Welcome.
So as we heard earlier, two companies being investigated for breaching the DNC. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, today is the first day of the launch of the DNC. I must say that so far the entire operations have been quite smooth. We have received about 20 inquiries from both phone calls as well as from electronic messages. From that, about two were found to be sort of valid complaints, and the PDPC is investigating those two cases.
So how will businesses be penalized for not following the rules?
Well, if they are found to have breached any of the DNC rules, it is an offence under the Act, and the financial penalty can be up to a maximum of $10,000 per offence.
Okay, so the numbers are out, about 4,000 unique registrations, 75% of which registered for all three. So they don't want voice calls, they don't want texts, and they don't want fax.
Yes.
Is that within expectations? Do you expect numbers to grow even more?
Well, we really don't have a target, because really when we set up the DNC, it was really to give consumers choice. So it's not like we set a target, the more is better, but really I think it's up to consumers to make the decision whether to put the numbers on the registry or not.
Speaking of giving customers choice, last week when you announced the exemptions to the DMC, a lot of people were wondering why that was done, because it was meant to be a black and white solution, black or white solution for consumers, either all or nothing. But this has now changed.
Well, that's precisely the point. I think before that, the DNC is set up to be an either all or nothing approach, meaning that if you put your number there, you will not get anything at all, or if you don't put your number on the registry, then you'll be getting all kinds of messages. And we thought that, and also through feedback, there's a group of consumers who, while they don't want to receive unsolicited messages, but they do not mind receiving, beneficial or relevant messages from companies whom they have a relationship with, for example, clubs, associations, or departmental stores. So we created this as an additional option to the all or nothing approach.
So the only extra burden that the consumer has to bear now is that they need to opt out of it.
Well, if they find that those messages coming in, those what we call in-service messages coming in, if they really do not want them, then they can always opt out at any time.
So how would you respond to criticism that the exemption is a U-turn, or that you're putting business first before the consumer?
No, certainly we have not put businesses ahead of consumers' needs. I think the whole intent of this exemption is to create yet another choice for consumers, because other than all or nothing, there's now the possibility of receiving those you want from companies whom you have a relationship with, while filtering all the rest out.
So overall, have you been able to track how many businesses have actually checked the registry before sending out the messages?
Well, today is the first day, and so far we have 95 companies who did a check of their number list. That amounted to something like 13 million numbers being sort of checked. So I think companies are taking this seriously, I would say, and I think that is good for consumers.
So looking at the DNC, what is not covered apart from emails?
Well, I think if consumers have given consent to some companies, then of course I think the companies legitimately can continue to send them messages, even if they put the numbers on the registry. So there may be situations that consumers either may not have remembered they have given consent, but of course, once they receive these messages and they do not want to receive it further, they should withdraw their consents from those companies.
Because I understand that messages related to surveys and customer service are allowed.
Yes, those are not considered marketing messages, because, like for example, to remind you that your service contract is going to expire, etc., something along those lines, those are notification rather than marketing messages. Those are, of course, outside of the scope of the DNC.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Leong.
Thanks
for the clarification. And that was Mr. Leong on the Do Not Call Registry, which of course officially takes effect in Singapore today.